Well, on my way home. Just finished at Mohawk. Kind of a weird day here. It rained all day, canceled all the jogging and training for the most part at Tamiko. And I would suspect at Northfield also, so it rained everywhere. But it did stop in time for them to get the track pretty good. It was still a little sticky. You know, I had said to Dominic after the race, I felt that maybe it's hard to keep this guy in shape, right? Because of his airway, because he bleeds a little bit. It's not like you can go out and just scorch him 4 days out because he'll bleed. So you're left trying to, formulate a way to get him tight, sharp. And it felt to me in the mile, if you watch a couple of times in the first turn, a couple of times down the backstretch approaching the half, he kind of threw in a shuffle. And I said, immediately I thought to myself, because of the lack of hard work, I wonder if his stifles are a little weak. You got to build up that muscle in their hind end, their flank, their muscle, their hip. And maybe he just isn't tight enough. But then I got thinking about it. The track was pretty sticky still. Not quite to the point where you needed fenders, but definitely my glasses were a little bit covered when I came in, and there was a little bit of mud on the track. And I wonder if, because behind he wears egg bars because he runs down, which is great. He likes them. And up front he wears an aluminum stabilizer plate, so he wears a full suede shoe, no grab, with an aluminum plate underneath. They're called different things in different places. It's just literally what it sounds like. Victory plates, some people call them, I guess. Maybe that's their name, I don't know. Maybe he was just sticking a little bit. Maybe he just hit the track and stuck a little bit with that, with any one of the 4 bars, in a sense, that he has on his feet. Or it may have been his stifles. I just said to Dom, it might be worth having the vet check. Sometimes you can feel it feels real loose in there. What they'll do sometimes is put a little iodine in that area, cause a little reactive, tiny little inner blister, they call it. Probably should come up with a more palatable name. A little inner blister, just to create some tension in there, and tighten them up. And that may or may not be the case. It may have been one or both or neither. And he wasn't bad. James he thought his horse should have won it, and you guys saw the race. Red Overbach should have jogged. But here's a horse that was kind of ground up a little bit towards the end of the year. We turned him out, brought him back, and we talk often about hybrid training schedules to train some of the horses back. And his is also, he spends a lot of time on the walker, the equicizer, and then we'll go out and train him, but you can't really scorch him because he'll shut his air off very, very easily. Now, he didn't tonight, as I said to James, and the reason I think James doesn't get along with this guy that well, sometimes, he will eventually, is because you really have to just kind of float along with him. You can't just kind of get him right up on the bit because he'll shut his air off. So you kind of got to just float along with him, and that's not James's comfort zone, right? There's nothing wrong with that, it's just the way it is. So when it comes to Red Overbach, that's a great trip for him, dropping the whole thing. It felt to me, if you watch the last 100 yards, that he was coming on again. So there is a spark in there somewhere. Is he a little tired tonight, a little short tonight? Yeah, he's not quite on the top of his game or razor sharp, but that's okay. He'll get there. I think the most important thing is to have classes like this to race him in. So, as I said to James, between the at least 30-mile-an-hour wind head on down the lane, last quarter in 30 and 2 for horses on that track with that wind isn't a horrible mile. Probably a mile around 55 and 3 or 4, I think. I believe, anyway. And I wasn't disappointed with Red Overbach. Yes, it's not lost on me that he should have won. But it's not lost on me either that he's on his way back. He's making his way back for us. He can be any kind of horse for us, to be quite frank. If we get to a point where we run out of classes, we can always, here's a horse also that we can take him to a track like Flamborough or London and put him in a class that goes for 8 to 10,000, and then he can get back in this horses that raced for a purse of less than whatever. It's not ideal right now, but I'd like to see where this leads. I'd like to see if Red Overbach can come back to life and be so it wasn't that long ago that this horse was at par almost with Resolute Bay and Renegade Gypsy, right? Not that far away. Raced in the last gold of his 3-year-old season. So I don't think there's no reason physically or mentally that this horse can't come back to that level. And let's see if he can. But I think trips like that will help him a long way, and as I said, yes, he should have won tonight, but you know what? He didn't race horrible. And I think if you look at the last 100 yards of the race, he is coming again. A cheaper horse would just hang out and just be a mediocre third. This guy felt like he was coming again at the wire. So we'll see. Wasn't disappointed with him. It's been a decent week, as you can see. I got the tire fixed quite quickly last night. I was home. I was home in my bed before 12 o'clock, so it wasn't the end of the world. Had an easy day today. And tomorrow we have all the horses, all the babies are going to train. Now tomorrow's a really, really busy day. I'll give you guys an update later in the afternoon. We have horn player qualifying, and Dominic, James said it, and then Dominic, I felt that they were both leaning towards, hey, maybe we should put the hobbles back on her. So I don't care, put the hobbles on her. You're not going to find any obstruction from me. Put the hobbles back on her. So we're going to qualify horn player tomorrow with the hobbles on. We're going to school landing pad. I think landing pad's going to need 2 or 3 schoolers. You know, he's at the point now where his future is in his hooves, in his hands. He can do as he wishes. I think there's speed in there, and I've never got the feeling that landing pad didn't want to come forward. So I'd like to see a schooler. Now, if call it all things being equal, no wind, no deep track, just a track and a horse and a schooler, I'd like to see a mile in 2:1, 2 minutes from landing pad tomorrow. Come back a little bit quicker the week after. Before we do any of that, we have some 3-year-olds to train, and before we do any of that, we have babies to train. All the babies are going to train, so I've asked our caretakers to have the horses ready to go on the track at 7:45 in the morning. For those of you like Mary and Jerry and Ron and a couple other people that like to come out to the track side and watch the horses train, you, if everything goes right, will have to be there at 7:45 to watch them go. If we could get those 3 sets out of the way quick, I'm going to train Crantini, brace for landing. I believe probably Spitfire Overseas is going to be ready also. That would mean Carter Michael Dio is. So all those horses should be going tomorrow. It looks like the weather's going to cooperate. I think the temperature's going to drop here quite a bit. It's still +3, so 38 right now Fahrenheit. I believe it's supposed to get well below 0 tonight, so hopefully the track's not too hard tomorrow. Hopefully it's not too deep tomorrow. It's just like the 3 Little Bears. We just want it just right. So a lot to go on tomorrow, but a decent night tonight. And then I picked up the program. Obviously we got 4 in tomorrow. You know, JK Victory. This isn't how we projected JK Victory would start, but at the same token, as I said to one of our clients and one of my partners on the horse this week, he's not going anywhere. Just sometimes it takes time to get these horses rolling the way we want them set up, the way we need them to. I didn't want to change too much, but I think Harry made the appropriate changes to race this horse at Mohawk. I don't know if James has the utmost confidence in him after the schooler where he didn't have the head pole on when we first got him in the race, his first race. He didn't get a true look at what I saw in his second schooler for us. I schooled him in 54, come 26 in a piece. I thought he was really good, and I just get the feeling after talking to James that, you know, he would rather see the confidence in him. So, you know, I know my brother well enough to know what's going to happen tomorrow. He's going to get away 6th and get buried up a little bit, and I'd like to see him pace home on the end of it. I'd like to see him a little closer, but it's just probably not going to happen tomorrow. More than you know, I'm going to probably drive him very similarly. There's no need to be blasting him out of there. I think this horse got a lot of talent. Both him and Gandalf got a bright future, but there are some horses in there, I think, that have some quite a bit more experience. Quite a bit more experience than Gandalf. Like Red Coin has 2 starts, 55-27 on the end of it. Now, our horses can go there, but having 2 racing starts under your belt as opposed to none is a huge difference, especially for a 3-year-old. It's a big edge. Plus, James opted to go with Jeff Gillis's horse, so I'm going with More Than You Know. Louis Philippe is going to go with Gandalf. Now, I'm certainly not worried about them getting embarrassed. They're going to race very well. I don't know what kind of. I'm not going to blast More Than You Know out of there, right? I'm probably going to get away 6th or 7th with them and try and race him up the wood. You know, try and drive him the way James would drive him when it makes me angry sometimes. But that's what he's going to need. We're going to have to gauge what he is and, you know, protect him a little bit best we can. So I'm not saying he's not going to get raced, but you're not going to see him blast out of there. I can almost assure you Gandalf's not going out of there either. So there's those 2. JK Victory and Hunted House will be raced, obviously. He's been racing very good for us. James is back on him tomorrow. Interested to see what's going to happen with him. So lots going on. I see, so we got Sister Solange in Saratoga. We got Blue Tesla in Saratoga. We got Stonebridge Acadi back to Northfield Park for Wednesday night. We have HP Maestro. A lot of people asking me today, why would you sell this horse? Why would you sell this horse? You guys, I've been preaching the same thing forever. For the last 2 years, for sure to you. Race the horses till they maximize their wins and money, and then you're going to have to move them. If I thought there was a class in Dover or Mohawk or Flamborough or anywhere that HP Maestro could go race for the same amount of money he's racing for now with the same amount of results, the same types of results he has right now, then he would be there. But he's getting very tight. He does have one more win in that class, but I'm not going to poke the bear. I think a lot of people have asked me about him. Nice horse, but he is at the boiling point. And, somebody said, I just think you should race him a little longer. No problem. We could race him a little longer, and you can watch him go to Northfield and get his head beat in 2 starts, because that's what would happen. And I know it's hard to explain to people, how this horse is doing so well, and then you're telling me in 2 weeks he's going to find it tough. Yes, he is, because now he's out of those condition claimer classes at Northfield, and I don't really want to go hunting for another class for him. We've done well with him. The horse has made good money this year, and we're going to get probably $22,000, $23,000 for him on Monday. So it's exactly how it's supposed to go. When I bought HP Maestro, I'm pretty sure if you go back and watch the first video, you're going to see it laid out the exact same way on that particular day. So I like the horse. I think he's a real sweetheart to be around, and he puts forth a real honest effort. I just think he's getting close to having some trouble at Northfield. I don't see a whole lot of greener pastures in Ohio for him. Sure, he could come home and race at Mohawk, I suppose, but it's a tough bunch, right? That's right around what you just saw Red Overbach do. And as much as I like HP Maestro, we've been racing him in the right classes. And the company that Red Overbach has faced in the not too distant past, HP Maestro hasn't seen in quite a while. Grassroots a little bit, but not up near the gold level, not near that 53 mark. It's just two different animals. Close, but not really the same. And as much as I love him, I'm gonna make somebody very, very happy that buys him. It's time. So, we get so much else going on. Horses qualifying this week in Ohio. I was very pleased. I don't know the last time. Pay attention. I don't know the last time I said I was very pleased with the Indiana quality. I forgot his name. My mouth will not let me say it in a positive note. I keep getting mixed up. The Swan for All Colt. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? The Swan for All Colt. It's literally right on the tip of my tongue. He's going to qualify this week. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, he's going to qualify this week. So is, they all train very good. Globetrotting sister, Coupe de Ville, looked very, very good. High Enterprise looked flat, but maybe she just needs another week of tightening, so she's going to qualify also on Thursday morning at Northfield Park. Who else do we have go? High Enterprise, Coupe de Ville went together, so that meant Swinging Senorita. She doesn't need to qualify this week, I don't think. Maybe Jason will opt to qualify her Thursday, I don't know, but man, she looked very, 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 very good. And Columbus, no point schooling him again. We'll just throw him in to qualify. So, possibly Swinging Senorita. Absolutely Columbus. Oh my gosh. High Enterprise and Coupe de Ville will all be qualifying at Northfield Park this coming Thursday. Some horses not far behind them. As I said, Tailgate Buzz and Austral Hanover, if we were in a hurry, if they had to race in 3 weeks, they could qualify easily on Thursday, but they don't have a race in 3 weeks. They have a race in about 5 weeks. So we'll get them ready a little bit slower, screw them down real tight, and if we have to race them in an hours of 4 at Northfield or at the Meadows, then we'll do so. Very, very happy with Austral and Tailgate Buzz. I was trying to think of the filly's name. I'm torn on whether we'll actually qualify leaps and bounds. I think we probably should. I don't think she needs a fast trip in the bike. The mile she went in the jog cart the other day was impressive. And as I said, I expect Austral Hanover, Tailgate Buzz, I expect Swinging Senorita to look good in the race bike. I'm on the fence. There's a couple of them we're on the fence with, right, that we were hoping would come back good, but really, would they? I don't know. Leaps and bounds, I think, of our horses where we're watching them closely with guarded expectations, I think she might be the top of the class. She was very, very good the other day. So I might just say to Jason, just put her in to qualify too. She does have a race coming up at the Meadows. Cindy's got her eating good, and Jason and I were trying to figure, she touches her jack. She cut it last year, so the jack is at the very top of the hind leg on the inside, right where the hock is. The very top of that bone, there's a little bump there. That's the jack. And she hit there quite a bit last year, to the point where she blew it up and it was bleeding. And, you know, she did it once training down. I said to Jason, geez, maybe we should put something under there. And Jason got a piece of rubber and glued it into the boot. Man, it was perfect. He did a great job with it. In fact, he did such a good job with it. I almost think any of those horses that hit up in that area, we should put that exact same thing on the boot. It was great. And the filly, the difference in the filly since we put that on is very measurable. So she may qualify this week also. So as you can tell, I don't care about the flat tire. It cost me a couple $100 and a couple hours yesterday, but it wasn't the end of the world. But just having a good week. And you know why? Because we got through that stake payment on the 15th, which was very stressful for me. We got through it. It's done. And now all I can see ahead is clear sailing. So many horses to qualify here in Ohio. Lots of horses racing. Lots of horses coming back. I can't wait to see Brace for Landing start going better, or start getting ready and really close. Crantini getting close, and Carter Michael Dio and Spitfire Overseas. It's a great time of year. It's the time of year where anything is possible, and it's a great feeling. So, Brett Overbach, I'm gonna give him a B plus tonight. A B plus. Yes, he should have won. Yes, he could have won. But you know what? He didn't race bad, and I think 100 yards from the wire, he decided that he didn't mind being a racehorse again, and that is important. So, next week he'll be in again. We got a ton of horses in Monday I want to talk about too. Obviously, White Tiger, Unbeatable Kemp. A number of you, I know my clients, that said, geez, I wish you'd drive Unbeatable Kemp. I just as soon stick with James, because James is the leading driver in Canada. And yes, he had Unbeatable Kemp in a position that we didn't like in hindsight, but he was trying to do what's best for the horse. And I think knowing what he knows about Unbeatable Kemp now, he'll definitely be in a position to do well on Monday evening. White Tiger, I think, is in a little tough, but at the same time, he's in a place he can do some damage. And then obviously Locatelli in a shocker, didn't get in, but the final of that series is next week, and it looks like he's a real player going into that. So lots going on, even more than I could even talk about. But as I said, just a really, really fun time of year. Optimism is at an all-time high for the 2-year-olds, for the 3-year-olds, and it's just a great week. So take care, everybody. I'll give you an update tomorrow after the qualifiers, the schoolers, after all the babies train, the 3-year-olds train. A big, busy day tomorrow, and of course, your weekend videos. Take care.